this game excites and frustrates so much. You wouldn't believe it is one match you just watched. It was a beautiful mess. That's the best way to put it. Ghana were at times enjoyable to watch. Other times you'd ask why professionals at this level will be making such costly mistakes and cost the team valuable points. Ghana 2, Egypt 2. Expectations were low before the start of the game, but the results could have been better. And I know a lot of people will be encouraged, but how many times will we say the Black Stars have given us an encouraging performance and things will get better? When do we begin seeing consistently good performances and results to go with them? While some of the players could actually hold their heads high, others were just coexisting. They must be kicking themselves for their part in all of this beautiful mess. Let's dig in for some of the highlights for this particular match. And Ghana started with so much pressure. I like the intensity of the start. They were aggressive. They were rushing Egypt off the ball. Guilty culprit here, Majeed Ashimeru. What a player. I'll come to him. And of course, our hero, Mohamed Kudus, who does very few wrongs in a game. And then Salih's Summit. The least said about him, the better. I saw a brilliant World Cup. And afterward, his performances keep dwindling. He did well in some parts of the game, but Salih's can be frustrating at times. He cannot progress the ball well and was at times reckless in the tackle as well in this particular match. Now, we also talk about possession. We also possessed the ball well, especially in that first half, and caused panic in the Egypt half most of the time. Again, in the first half. The second half was a completely different story. Mohamed Kudus with an outstanding goal at a point. Now let's talk through the goal. He actually steps back to receive the ball and create a space for himself. Decides to go past a man, but he did so going to the left, of course, going to a stronger foot before hitting a fantastic shot. And at that point, Ghana are on a high, and then sadly, it's half time. And that you feel a bit of the gas taking off the momentum. So talk about Kudus. He's by far Ghana's best player, and of course we must keep him fresh at all times. Protect him. He's a national treasure. But of course the second half starts, and at that point Egypt are finding their feet. They continue to build the momentum, but at one point Inaki Williams does something disastrous. He receives the ball just inside Ghana's half, decides to pass the ball backwards, and boom, Egypt pounds, and Mamouche takes advantage. So out of nowhere, Mohamed Kudus scores 2 minutes later, and you'd have expected better management from a team that is known to know football, and that's Ghana. We are a football nation, right? And with the players we have, with the technical team we have, you'd expect better game management, but it didn't happen. Instead, we give the ball away again in dangerous areas. This time it was Osman Bukari. And I know there's a lot to say about him, his substitutions, and we'll get to that. But after he was brought on, it was just about some of his first few touches. And then this guy dribbles into his own box, gives the ball away. Mustafa Hamed scores. And from then on, Egypt gets on the ascendancy, but ultimately cannot score, the final goal that seals Ghana's fate as another loser in this AFCON. This is so frustrating to watch. I mean, how could we drop points in a game that was firmly in our hands like this? And to think that, these were individual game mistakes. Totally avoidable. Imagine being Kudus right now. You come into a game, it's your first AFCON match, it's against Egypt, a lot of expectations on your shoulders. You actually deliver, you score a goal, a wonderful goal in the first half, take us into the halftime with a lead, and there are 3 more goals in the second half. You actually score one of those 3 goals, and then individual mistakes from your own teammates lead to you not winning the game. I think he's done his bit. We all know that we love him, and we keep showering the praises, but the entire team needs to sit up. The entire team needs to come up and raise their game. And that's not what they gave us. Now, at this point, let me just shout our sponsor for this episode, Aya Herbal. They provide several solutions for men and women, including the Men Flow. Now, this is for prostate issues. And if you want to protect your prostate, now you must make sure that the Aya Men Flow is your best friend from now onwards. Especially if you are 40 years and above, this is a drug for you. Now, they have the Aya Men Vital. It also solves a lot of the fertility problems. So if you are having fertility issues, that is low sperm count, the Aya Men Vital is the drug for you. And of course, they have the Aya Fem as well. That's typically for females. And it's also to boost the female fertility issues there. And then they have the Slim Mix, the Aya Slim Mix. That's purely for slimming. If you want to slim the right way, the natural way, they have the ingredients in the Slim Mix to help you. And then they have the Aya Men Go. Now that's for sexual weakness. And so if you're a man, you can't power, you can do what strong men do. Then that's definitely the drug for you. Now get these and solve your problems. Thank you, Aya Herbal, for sponsoring this video. Now let's get back to the Black Stars. And the Black Stars were undone by costly individual mistakes. These are mistakes you don't expect from professionals. Inaki Williams played football for so long. You don't pass the ball back unless you know that the man to receive the ball, your teammate, is ready, positioned well, and will not be jittery after he receives the ball. Now, he didn't look up to see Dennis Odoye. He just released the ball. Dennis was not prepared. By the time he realized the Egyptians had pounced, and of course, after then, it was very little the Black Stars could do. The problems already caused, and we knew this was going to be very, very difficult for the Black Stars with that kind of mistake. And of course, Osman Bukari also coming on, fresh mind, fresh legs. You'd have expected better, especially from a player who knows what it means to play at this level. But he also missed the point, and from then on, we just knew that it was going to be all Egypt, and that's exactly what it was. What it was proving. The lack of concentration by the Black Stars or from the Black Stars is very, very telling. And that is a system failure. That is not just down to the individuals who made the mistake. It is also about the psychology of the team and how we're boosting these players, or how we have boosted these players mentally for games like these. And I don't know if you realized, but no chance creation. How many good chances did you see the Black Stars create? Yes, I know it's against an experienced and a very good Egyptian backline, but this is still the Black Stars, and you'd have expected better chance creation. The 2 goals we scored were out of nothing, basically. Mohamed Kudus scoring due to some magic that he could conjure. First outside the box, second inside the box, but I mean, unexpected, right? So you'd expect the Black Stars to do better. The performance, I think, was better. The aggression, like I said earlier, the punch in the performance was there, but up front, we just weren't creating enough chances there. Incursions were in there. Antoine Semenyo at one point made very, very good positioning and running, although at some point he was just too fast. And so when Majeed Ashimeru laid on the pass, he was offside. But besides that, he and Inaki Williams weren't making good incursions. Jordan Ayew drops too deep. I understand he likes to come help in midfield, but he drops too deep, and that gives us it creates a disadvantage up front for the Black Stars, and hopefully we're able to correct all of these going forward. But how many things will we hope to correct in subsequent games? Every time we talk about the Black Stars, we hope to correct something. Chris Hughton, do something. Now let's talk about some of the individual performances here. And I've already mentioned Mohamed Kudus and how he's our star boy, how we need to protect him. For a player who missed the first game, now you would be imagining what could have been if he played that Cape Verde match. He owns his own magic wand, trust me, and nobody uses it. When he comes on, steps onto the pitch, what he does with the ball, the technique with how he plays that ball is absolutely intriguing. I like a player like that. I like a player who is able to create something out of nothing. And these players are special, and they're not many, are they? And Mohamed Kudus is our own, and I love him. I love what he does on the pitch. And once again, he proved why he's indispensable to this team, why he's such an undroppable talent. He's able to do things that you know that if you had 2 or 3 players do same on the pitch, you're winning games. You're winning games consistently. And that's what Mohamed Kudus brings into this Black Stars team. I like what he does when he drops his shoulders and he hits the ball. Again, I come back to that technique. How he hits the ball is very different. It's very unique. It's very special. Kudus. Has to you. But talk about undroppable. Isn't that what Majeed Ashimeru has become in this Black Stars team? And it's because we have a midfield that lacks creativity. When Mohamed Kudus doesn't play, or when he is far up the pitch, we don't have a player who takes the ball, picks the ball up and supports Kudus. And that's what Majeed Ashimeru has become. After he was sacked, Ghana lost the midfield battle. We were just not in it again. And it just tells you how pivotal Ashimeru has become in this Black Stars team. I love what I'm seeing, though. I love what he's become. I love what he has grown into. We all saw him at Wafa way back when his formidable partnership with Gideon Waja was one to travel and see. I like his progression. I like what he's become for the national team. Hopefully, he's able to keep up performances like this going forward. But of course, Ashimeru, take away the goal that he scored against Cape Verde that was eventually ruled out. But he is clearly becoming one of our best players in this Black Stars team. The way he drives the ball through midfield is very encouraging. It's very inspiring. It just carries the entire team with him. And you like to see players like that. Antoine Semenyo works so hard up front. He hasn't scored a goal yet, but his contribution up front is something that I like to mention because he runs very well. He's trying to go past his man. He's trying to cross the ball. He's trying to lay the pass. He's trying to get into good positions. And that's what you want to see from a striker. That's what you want to see from your target man. And that's what Antoine Semenyo is. And I don't mind seeing a lot of him in the Black Stars. Now, let's talk about Jordan Ayew. His experience helps with ball retention. And of course, drawing fouls in dangerous areas. He likes to go for the ball for free kicks and the corner kicks, all the set pieces. I don't know why, but I just like what he asks to the team. Sometimes I think he needs to release the ball a lot earlier, which he doesn't. He over elaborates. Now let's talk about Chris Hughton, the double pivot. I don't know where he learned that from, but it seems to be something etched in his coaching manual that he does not know how to erase. Like I was saying earlier, Ashimeru was playing well. Yeah, I know there was that niggling injury, but then he brings on another defensive midfielder, and it just packs that midfield. So Salis, Baba, Idrisu, and then at some point Salis goes off, and it's Elisha Owusu who comes in. Once you have two defensive midfielders, it takes one attacker of your team. And what that means is you are stifled and your attackers are stifled of chances. And that's exactly what happened. Chris Hughton, I expect better. But maybe this was game management for him. Maybe he wanted to maintain a decent scoreline to prevent a loss. But when you have Egypt the way we had them today, you don't take your foot off the pedal. And that's exactly what Chris Hughton did. Osman Bukari, and his substitution, again, back to Chris Hughton. He brings this player on. He makes a mistake. He takes him off. I mean, I've seen coaches do that. I've never been in support of it because I think that it just dampens the spirit of the player. You just finish the player. Sometimes some players are unable to recover. Very strong players will react, and sometimes they leave the team. There's a national team. It's not club football where you can ask to be sold. So I don't know what Osman Bukari's reaction is going to be. I hope it's a positive one, and I hope he does not let himself down and drop his shoulders. But that is not what I expect Chris Hughton to do. He makes a mistake, fair enough, but to take him off 2 minutes later, yeah, I know some people were calling for his head, and I'm sure we're happy when Osman Bukari was called off, but I wasn't in support of it, to be honest. Ouch. Now, Ghana must now win against Mozambique and hope Cape Verde doesn't win another match. That's where we are. Egypt too. Then we can safely qualify. But at the time of doing this video, so much can happen until the final group matches. And yet again, we must take out the Casio calculators and begin punching numbers and dividing and adding and subtracting. Ghana. Anyway, Ghana has 1 point after 2 games in this AFCON 2023. You want us to qualify? Then come around. Let's pray for the Black Stars. I'll see you in church. Now, thank you very much for watching this video. If you want to see more of this, then please keep supporting us, keep liking this video, and subscribe to this channel, because that is the only way we keep, producing more content for you. And also remember to turn on your notifications, because that's the only way you are prompted when there is a new video on this channel. My name is Theo Winyan. Thank you very much for watching this TN podcast. I'll see you another time.